video, I will be teaching you one of the method of numerical computing, which is false position method. And in this method, I will be teaching you how to use some formulas. There are some formulas to solve to find the root of that equation. So let's not waste our time, start with our video. So in false method, we have total number of 3 formulas. Number 1 is x2 is equals to x naught minus f of x naught multiplied by x1 minus x naught upon f of x1 minus f of x naught. This is our first formula to find the root of the equation. And in our second formula, we have x2 is equals to bracket open f of x naught 1 bracket close minus x1 minus f of x naught bracket close divided by whole divided by f of x1 minus f of x naught. This is our second formula. And the third and last formula is x1 minus f of x1 multiplied by x naught minus x1 upon f of x naught minus f of x1. These are the 3 formulas which we are going to use in this video to find the root of the root of the equation. So I prefer to use the very first formula, which is x naught minus f of x naught multiplied by x1 minus x naught upon whole divided by f of x1 minus f of x naught. So let's start solving our very first question, which is question number 1, which is f of x equals to x cube minus x minus 1. This is our first formula. So there will be a question in your mind, in this formula where we are going to get our x naught and f for x1. So don't worry, I will tell you this. First of all, we will going to consider some numbers which we going to put in this equation, so to get their outputs. So let's consider 0. If you put 0 over in this formula, we are going to get 0 cube, which will be 0 minus 0 minus 1, which will going to be minus 1. And let's consider the second number 1, which if you put 1 in this formula, we will going to minus 1 which 1 will be 1 cube will be 1 minus 1 minus 1, it will going to be minus 1. So you can see the signs are not changing. If the third iteration, that if third number will change their sign, so we will consider that those 2 numbers which will going to change the sign of the output. So let's consider second number. It will be 2 will going to be 8 minus 2 minus 1, which will going to be 5. So you can see the signs are changing of the outputs. So we will going to consider these 2, because the root will be going to lie between these 2 numbers, which will root supposed to be 0. So 0 will be lying between these 2 numbers. So we will consider these 2 numbers as, this will be going to consider as x naught, and this will be going to consider as x1. So let's start. So first of all, we are going to create a table of these values, which are going to be f of x naught and x1, f of x1 and x2 and f of x2. So in our first iteration, we have got x naught as 1, and f of x is minus 1, and x1 is 2, and f of x1 is 5. So as you can see, x naught has x naught has the output as minus 1, it has a minus sign, and the output of x2 x1 which is 2, it has an output of which is 5. So this sign, there is a difference of sign. It has a negative sign, it has a positive sign. So when we are going to find the x2 and its output, if it has a negative sign, we are going to replace this value with x2, and if it has a positive sign, we will going to replace this value with x2. So let's start with our first iteration, which is in which we are going to use this formula which was told you in the starting of the video, which is x naught minus f of x naught multiplied by x1 minus x naught upon f of x1 minus f of x naught. So let's put these numbers in these formulas. X naught, which is 1, and f of x, which is minus 1, multiply by f of x1 is 2, and x naught is 1, upon we have f of x1, which is 5. We're going to write 5, and f of x naught, which is minus 1, we're going to write minus 1 in this bracket. So let's solve this formula. We will going to get x2. So after solving this formula from calculator, we will going to get the value, which is 1.166. This is our x2. We will write x2 over here, 1.166. So to find the f of x2, we will going to put this value in the equation, which is x3 minus x cube minus x minus 1. So we're going to write this value over here, x3 f 1.166 equals to x3 minus x minus 1, 1.166 cube minus 1.166 minus 1. We're going to put these numbers in the calculator and find the output, which is minus 0.599. So this is the output. We are going to write over here 599. So as you can see, we have a negative sign over here. So these x2 will replace this x naught, because it has a negative sign. It also has a negative sign, so negative sign will replace negative sign. So our next iteration will be second iteration. It will be changing x naught to x2, and the output will also change, and the x1 will remain same. So let's move on to our second iteration. So let's go for the second iteration. Again, write the formula, x naught minus f of x naught multiplied by x1 minus x naught, and f of x1 minus f of x naught. So let's put these values in the formula. X naught, which is now 1.166, minus f of x naught, which is now minus 0.599, and x1, which is the same, minus 2, 1.166, upon we have f of x1, which is 5, minus 0.599. So let's solve this equation. We were going to put these value into the calculator. We were going to get the output, which is going to be 1.253. So this is our new x2, which will go, and let's find the output. Put this for answer into the equation to find the f of x2, which is 1.53. Put this into the formula, which is x3 minus x minus 1. Now the output will be 1.253 cube minus 1.253 minus 1. Now the output will be minus 0.285. This is our f of x2 now. So I write these value into the table, 1.253 and minus 0.285. So our second iteration is done. Now see the sign. It has a negative sign, so it will again replace x naught. If it has a positive sign, it will going to replace this, else it will always replace the negative sign. So now write this over here and this over here. minus 0.285. So let's again, we have the same f of x1 and f of x1. Now we will going to move to our third iteration. Same formula, we're going to put the values into the formula. F of x naught is changed again, so the new f of x is 1, x naught is 1.253 minus the new f of x, which is minus 0.285, and multiply by x1 minus x naught, which f of x1, which is 2 minus 1 plus 1.253 upon f of x1, which is 5, minus the new of x naught, which is 0.285. So let's write this into the formula. So the output is 1.299, and we were going to find the f of x2, which is by putting this into the equation, which then answer will be going to be minus 0.107, and we were going to put this into the table. Right here we have already put this in the table. 1.299 minus 0.107. This are the 3 iteration I have done, and we can do more iteration until and unless we get 0 over here. So this was it. It was the video on false position method. Hope you learned something from this video, and hopefully this video will help you in your numerical computing skills. Thank you.